It's lovely to have you in Australia.
Oh, thank you.
And I do realise that you're going back to Melbourne. You're going to be talking about at the Singularity Summit.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah. I only noticed that actually after I contacted you, so it was actually like an interesting.
Well, I'm going for two reasons. One, well, first they asked me, but from the skeptics' perspective, this is one of those areas that we like to keep tabs on because there's a lot of pseudoscience there, but it's not wacky stuff. It's just out there on the cutting edge, and so too, what if there's something there? You know, right? I mean, I'm glad somebody like Ray Kurzweil and Peter Thiel and these guys are thinking about these big issues way beyond what I usually think about, that I would like to be thinking about. So I'm going to kind of stimulate my own thinking about the far future or even the near future and what we can do to bring it about. Again, the rub here for skeptics and scientists is you want to have a mind open enough, a brain open enough that you really can recognize radical new ideas that are important, but not so open-minded that your brains fall out and you believe every wacky idea, right? So these are the guys that are like in the gray area there. They're not obviously quacks, and their ideas are not obviously wrong. Some of them might be right, and and I hope they are, actually.
So actually, why do you hope they are?
Oh, because I think that's the same. I don't believe in God, right? So it's up to us, and by us I mean science and technology, really to get us there. Now I think one of the things that's lacking that I'm going to talk about a little bit is social singularity. Even with super advanced computers or these topological quantum computers or whatever, nothing's going to happen big unless the social system allows it. The economy, the political system. You know, we live in a society with a rule of laws, and if the majority say you can't do that, you can't develop that technology, we can pass a law against you. That's it, game over, right? So, I mean, the technologies these guys are talking about are so far advanced, and yet we're still living in a political system that's 200 years old. That's been tweaked and modified in really good ways. You know, blacks can vote, women can vote. We've made progress, but it's still the same old corrupt political systems bought off with money, and it's like, come on, surely we can do better than that.
It's interesting to note that some technologies have come up in the last 5 years. Like for instance, Facebook, maybe 6. Facebook and Twitter, but do they need political consent to
no, they don't. See, right, the bottom-up stuff. But on the other hand, Google would be a driving force behind all this, and they are under constant surveillance by the federal government about being a monopoly, and they can do something about that, just like they did to Microsoft. They can sue them. I mean, Microsoft was giving away Netscape. What could be better for consumers? Free Internet Explorer, right? Did I get that wrong? Netscape, right? Yeah, no.
Microsoft gave it, i.e., with the operating system.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So, and they were sued by the government for unfair competition against. I'm getting my story. I'm getting the details of the story wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. This would be an example of interference with free trade that doesn't hurt anybody. And the problem is we're still thinking about economics from a producer perspective rather than a consumer perspective. Are we still working? Okay, good. Anyway, so that's my interest in going to Singularity Summit.
Okay.
I'm fascinated by Ray Kurzweil. I reviewed his movie, Transcendent Man, in Science, and it's a beautiful film. He's an amazing guy, but he's also a little weird. He's a little obsessed with death. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of him, but I'm glad he's out there thinking about these things because he's smarter than me, and maybe he'll figure this out.
Well, I don't know if it's going to come down to just Ray Kurzweil. I mean, there's a lot of different guys working on different types of AI.
That's right. Yeah.
But what's interesting is now there seems to be a rallying of futurists and technologists who seem to be taking these matters seriously, and there's a very strong sense of rationalism or a strong push for rationalist thinking at the Singularity Institute. You might
right.
know a blog called Less Wrong.
Less Wrong, yes, I've seen that, or did you send that to me? Somebody just sent me that recently.
Yeah, but Less Wrong, and also that was sister blog to Overcoming Bias, So there's a lot of
Right.
pretty smart people talking about cognitive biases and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So probably have a look. Question specific here. Okay. How should we approach thinking about the future of science and technology?
That's what we think about it. It's hard to think about because we can't predict the future, and the fastest thing that changes is science and technology. So the way to think about it is don't think about it too much and just let it do its thing. Don't try to control it. Don't put the brakes on too soon. Don't be a Luddite. Just let it go. Encourage it. Fund it. Make donations to it. Whatever it takes, that's the best hope we have.
So do you think funding will have a big impact in the future of development?
Well, I am encouraged by private industry getting involved with things like space exploration, like the SpaceX guys in Hawthorne, where I live, Southern California. You know, they're going to be able to put men on the moon and even Mars for a tenth of the price of the federal government. That's an example of private industry. You know, maybe not this year, 10 years, but they will.
Have you heard of the Sea Setting Institute?
Yes, that's where you set up a society out in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they've done is they've actually bought parts of countries now. So they've got startup countries.
They do? Where?
Trust me, it's somewhere.
I hope they're at the Singularity Summit. That'd be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Patrick
so I
Freeman
like
talked to
I
him.
like this idea. I do. It's sort of a gulch from Atlas Shrugged, you know, for real. People have tried to do this, and they're usually not successful. And so the question is why? Why is that? Well, usually they're set up on principles of like communism or communitarianism or socialism or something, and those never work because they go against the grain of human nature. So these guys, they have to go the other direction, but not too far because we need some rules, some guidelines by which to live. So we'll see.
How do we educate people about the issues surrounding science and technology?
Well, better public education, but I like the idea of converting public schools to private schools because they can do it cheaper, better, like everything else. But also just individualized instruction through computers. I mean, we now have a global free encyclopedia. You know, that's bigger than the Library of Alexandria. It's bigger than the New York Library. You know, Wikipedia. You know, the Google book search program, and so on. There's another example, by the way, of Google trying to do something that's really good. Let's scan every book on the planet, and it's free for everybody. You know, and the first time I heard that as an author, I didn't think, hey, they're going to steal my books and no one will buy my books. I thought, no, this would be great because people will always like physical books and more people will know about my books thanks to Google Book Search Scan. But it turns out I'm in the minority. Most authors hate the idea. Most publishers hate the idea. And I think they've got the wrong model. The model is free. You got to give stuff away for free and then find another way to make money. I think it's doable.
What thinking tools can people use to increase their intelligence or increase their effectiveness?
With thinking tools, well, that's one of the things we're working on at Skepticism is like the baloney detection kit we developed, inspired by Carl Sagan. There's certain tried and true methods. It's really just science. It's really teaching people how to think scientifically. That's the key. And we need to do more of that. More effective teaching of how science works. In science education, this is called process versus fact-based education. We want to teach process, how science works as a process. You need the facts, yes, of course, but they're not as important as the process. Hypothesis testing.
Talking about hypothesis testing, there's a lot of automated sciences out there now, and the effectiveness is improving, and also even before that, automatic theorem proving. What do you think of those technologies, and where do you think they'll head in the future?
For individualized instruction, you mean?
No, this, we've got automatic scientists who can deduct by, well, for instance, watching a pendulum swing, an AI, I think that's called Eureka by Hod Lipson, deducted the laws, the Newtonian laws of mechanics.
I see. I didn't know about this. This is pretty cool.
There's some really interesting stuff
Yeah.
that's been happening behind the scenes, hasn't made commercial impact.
Right, but it will. I bet it will. That's interesting. No, I didn't know about that. Yeah, that's very exciting. I guess it's a little bit like IBM's Watson. Scaling up on the levels of analysis of abstract ideas like language. Yeah, that's great.
Well, another question is, what do you feel are the opportunities and risks associated with developing advanced technology in the future, especially with regard to intelligent or machine intelligence?
I'm not worried about it.
Not worried about a robot uprising?
No, I'm not worried about it in the least. This is typical dystopian fear that everybody seems to have about new technologies, and then they come around and nothing happens, and everybody gets used to flying in planes, or trains were supposed to, anything over 45 miles an hour is supposed to cause brain damage and all kinds of problems for people. It's just ridiculous. I'm just not worried about it. I mean, I say, Katie, bar the door, just go. Far and fast as you can go, making your AI robots, go for it. And if something terrible happens, okay, we'll step in and do something about it. But I don't think it's...
Do you think it's, so you don't see that there's any probability that we're going to reach a stage where we'll have a friendliness problem with AI?
I don't. Maybe I'm just not thinking about it in the right way, but I'm not worried about it.
You do. That's fine. Well, it's interesting. There's been some developments in technology recently which probably wouldn't be human, but very cognitive.
Time to go?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to...
Yeah, I've got a couple
Give him a couple more questions. Yeah, we're just wrapping up.
Yeah, okay, that's great. I really appreciate the time. It's really good. I'm doing a documentary, so I'm hoping I'll be able to use some of this in the documentary to help sort of think about the future of technology, just getting different opinions, juxtapose, point, counterpoint, that sort of thing. So, what do you think about people enhancing their bodies with technology?
Well, we're already enhancing our bodies with technology. We do it all the time. I'm wearing them right here, right, yeah. So again, more is better, just go for it. We're just meat, electric meat and meat. It's not designed to last very long. It's only designed really long enough to have some offspring and get them up to reproductive age and maybe have grandchildren. That's pretty much it. After that, you're doomed. So if we can correct that problem with better technology, I'd say go for it.
It seems so. In the near-term future, will be more and more embedded with our technology. We have mobile phones, which are kind of not exactly plugged directly into our brain, but are becoming like digital twins in a sense. And if I lose this, I lose my IQ to such an extent that I do depend on something like this. And I've offloaded my intelligence onto this.
Well, you haven't, of course, but
my memory.
Yeah, so like you mean your phone number database or whatever. Yeah, it's true. I guess I have a lot fewer phone numbers memorized in my head now than I used to. But we can adjust to it pretty quick. I mean, if the power grid went down, it's not going to go down for very long. If it went down permanently, well, then we just go back to doing it the old-fashioned way, using your memory. When books were first published, first starting to be written in Socrates' own age, he worried about the loss of memory and that people wouldn't have the oral tradition. Well, I guess that's true, but so what? It's much better with books than without.
It would be a shame to lose all this information, all this knowledge that we've gained. How about virtual reality, but also augmented reality? Are you aware of the current trends with augmented realities, being able to see through maybe some sort of visor in the future that has metadata about the scenery which you're seeing? Maybe
yeah. No, I know about that. Yeah, I think that would be great. I see no reason to restrict that. But I'm a libertarian. I think we shouldn't restrict anything along those lines. Just let everybody do the market will determine what we want. People will just buy what they want to use, and then the price will go down, and then it'll be here. And if not, then not.
What do you think about the social impacts of such a technology where people are walking around in a social network, so to say, and right now I could be looking at you and seeing all your friends up above your head,
Yeah.
finding out, you know, your
It's
birth
great.
date and all that.
Yeah,
Is that
sure, why
correct?
not?
I mean, like, have you ever heard
I mean,
of
there's
a-
always privacy issues, but all these technologies have ways to shut that off so people can't invade your privacy.
That's true. So you might
I
be
mean,
able
you
to blur
control
these-
what you put on your Facebook page.
Yes. And that's fine. But I think it could be engaging. It could be useful. I've been thinking, like, you know, if you can see above people's head mesh data about the people and the environment they live in, you might be able to connect with people who share a common interest. Like,
Yeah.
for instance, if I'm a mandolin player, I play guitar, I can walk down the street, hey, you know, wow, I like, you know, Romanian music. Hey, you do too.
Right.
And it might be very hard to find these sorts of people just walking down the street interested in talking about subjects. But yeah, there's some interesting sort of fallouts from that sort of technology. Yeah. Almost ready to go. Well, I think I've got quite a few. There's some which I think are quite good, but they're very transhuman oriented. Are you in favour of transhumanism?
Yeah, and that's kind of what we've been talking about, right? I mean, I think all these guys are both ahead of their time and ahead of the time that they think it's going to happen. I think all this is going to happen slower than the futurists think. Faster than the average guy will think it could happen, but slower than they think. Like Kurzweil's 2030, you know, maybe 2130, you know, and maybe not quite as much as he thinks, but
It's philosophically not a very long time frame for technology to move ahead, but in terms of us building sort of foresight mechanisms into a variety of different futures to like plan for, contingency futures. How do you think we should? Do you think it's worth considering that AI could be closer than we think, or some technologies could be closer than we think, or left field technology?
I'm still going with my 5 years away and always will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. Don't worry about it. We're a long ways away. I mean, I guess we should think about, you know, some of the dystopian possibilities just for fun, but don't let that slow you down.
Okay, well, here's some general ones. Should the goal of ethics and morals be the happiness and well-being for all people?
All sentient beings beyond our species.
Yes.
Yeah, chimpanzees, dolphins, whales, elephants. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the long-term trend to think like that. We're getting there, slowly.
Is your concept of the meaning of life derived from human responsibility and opportunity rather than divine revelation?
Yeah, of course. What else?
Okay, some of these are obvious yeses. Do you think it is a good thing? Do you think it will be a good thing if people could live in good health for hundreds of years or longer?
Sure, why not? I mean, we'll get the population control thing, and we're already getting control of the population problem. So I don't think that's an issue. Improved technologies, food production, no problem. We're getting there already. But in general, as a principle, just ask the person who is about to die, would you like another day? They'll all say yes. Would you like another week? Yeah, I'll take another week. How about a month? How about another month of high quality living? I'll take it at any price. Okay, how about a year? Oh, a year would be great. How about 10 years? Fantastic. You know, no one's going to go, you know what? I mean, no, I think I don't. I mean, yeah, okay, people commit suicide, okay. But in general, most people will go, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the technology. And we know this because they already do. This is why healthcare costs are so expensive. It's why people spend 90% of their money in healthcare in the last year of their life. They're just fighting to stay alive.
To believe that people have the right to use technologies to extend their mental and physical, including reproductive capabilities, and to improve the control over their own lives.
What? There's not a question there.
Oh no. Do you believe that people...
Oh, do I believe?
Yeah. if people have the right to use technology to enhance themselves intellectually and physically.
Yeah, every way possible. Why not?
Would you consider uplifting the intelligence of an animal without consent to find out whether it would give consent?
Like a chimp maybe, or a dog, or something like that. I think it'd be a good experiment to run, and then let's decide if that was ethical afterwards. Yeah.
Do you think it would be a good thing if people could become many times more intelligent than they currently are? Like
Yeah, I would.
thousands?
I'd like it, and I think everybody would like it.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody has to work in the service industry. Yeah, but we can build AI robots to take care of that. We already do this. You know, the number of people that work in assembly lines is way lower than it used to be.
If AI got good enough, would you vote for an AI president?
Yeah, but by then, the other world leaders would be AI. In fact, we probably wouldn't need presidents anymore. That's my prognostication there.